are when to mix expressions and complex fractions. They actually look a lot more confusing than they really are. Once you get them set up, it's a lot like the last few sections that we just did. So looking at this first example, I'm adding. So anytime you add or subtract and you got a fraction, you need a common denominator, right? This is going back a couple grades. So you just need your common denominator. Well, this 3 is really a 3 over 1. And the common denominator, right, the easiest way is to just multiply the denominator. So 1 times x minus 2, which is x minus 2. So I got to get this left fraction to an x minus 2 in the denominator, which means I got to multiply by an x minus 2 on the bottom, which means I have to do it on top, because essentially I'm multiplying by 1, because I can't change values, right? So x minus 2 over x minus 2. And the important thing is, when I go through this, you just need to distribute that 3. So I'm going to put this all over my one common denominator. I'm going to start out with this left side. So I got 3 times x, which is 3x. 3 times negative 2, which is then negative 6. And then I have my plus 7 left over here still. And it's all over a common denominator now, so I can put it over 1 x minus 2. And let's just simplify the top. So I have 3x plus 1 over x minus 2. And then I check and see if anything cancels or factors. And I can't do anything with this, so that is my final answer. That would be my final answer. So we're just getting it simplified. All right, writing it as a rational expression. This guy looks pretty awful, the way it's written. Okay, but if you think about it, it should make sense. Division can be written as a fraction bar, right? And a fraction bar is division. So I can either think of these as all division, all these bars, or I could think of as some fraction, some division. Well, that's what I like to do. I like to make one of them my division, and I break the rest up as fractions. So if I think about it, here's a fraction, and here's a fraction, and here's my division symbol, my fraction bar that I can use as division. So now I can write it a different way. I can actually use my symbol. So I got 8 to the 5th b over c squared. Just like I said, that's my first fraction. And I'm going to divide by, that's my fraction bar right here, ab to the 4th over c to the 4th. Okay, because I know how to do this, right? We never divide fractions. We change the multiplication, and we multiply by the reciprocal. So my second fraction gets flipped here. Then bring my first one down. This one stays the same. So we change multiplication and multiply by the reciprocal. And then it's just our rules. I can cross cancel. I can cancel up and down since this is all multiplication. So if I look at my a's, 1a cancels with 1a up here. So I'm left with a to the 4th. I got 1b cancels with 1b down here. So I'm b to the 3rd. And I have 2 c's that cancel with 2 c's up here. So c to the 2nd. And then just multiply across. So a to the 4th times c to the 2nd on top. And on bottom we have a b to the 3rd. And we're done. Okay, so just get it broken up. Use one of those fraction bars as a division symbol just like I did here. So try to break it up into a couple fractions being divided. And then it's just like our last couple sections. So same thing here. Figure out which fraction bar you're going to use as division. Well, I wouldn't use this because I have that b plus this fraction. So the other one I want to use as my division. And then let's see what happens. So up top I got my b plus 2 over b plus 3. And that is going to be divided by b minus 4. Okay, well my left side, I got a fraction in there, but I don't want one fraction and then one whole number, or 1b. So let's get it just to one fraction first. So we need a common denominator. Well, this is really b over 1, and the common denominator would be b plus 3. So I got to multiply this b over 1 times b plus 3 over b plus 3. I like to put the parentheses so I don't forget to distribute. So now I got one denominator over here of a b plus 3. And I got to simplify. So b times b squared, and b times a positive 3, positive 3b, and I got a plus 2. And if I look at this right fraction, instead of writing divided by b minus 4, remember we never divide fractions. So this is really b minus 4 over 1, where we change the multiplication and we multiply by the reciprocal. So there's just a lot of steps to getting this guy set up. And now if I look, everything is factored or simplified besides this top part of my left fraction, right? It's a quadratic, so I'm going to see if I can find factors of 2 that add up to 3. In this case, I can, right? Factors of 2 that add up to 3 would be positive 2 and a positive 1. So I'm going to rewrite this top one as b plus 2 and a b plus 1 over my b plus 3 still, times 1 over b minus 4. And now I see if anything cancels, which I don't believe it does. So we're just going to multiply everything on top across. So b plus 2 times b plus 1 times 1. Well, that's just my b plus 2 times b plus 1. And on bottom I got b plus 3 times b plus 4. Just leave it as your two binomials, the product of two binomials. B minus 4. And there you go. Don't need to simplify any further. Don't need to distribute. The biggest part is just to get it as one fraction at the end. Okay? So like I said, pick your division bar, get it rewritten with your division symbol, and then simplify things you can simplify. So the left side I needed one denominator. The right side I needed to change to multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay? So it's just some things will take a couple steps, some things will take 4 to 5 steps. You just got to go through and don't lose track of your work. See, same thing here. Looks kind of messy, but if I think about it, I got a fraction right here, and a division symbol. So let's just break it up. So c squared minus 4c plus 3 over c squared plus 9c plus 14. And it's really divided by that. Some people can jump to the next step and change the multiplication and multiply by the reciprocal. And just write this as multiplying by the reciprocal right away. If you can skip that step of changing it from division to multiplication, that's fine. Otherwise, you need to write it out. Okay, let's take a look. Well, looks like we got some factoring to do, don't we? So let's find factors of 3 that add up to negative 4. They both need to be negative, don't they? I think a negative 3 and a negative 1. Negative 3 times negative 1 is 3, and they add up to negative 4. Good, so that's changed. Down here I need factors of 14 that add up to 9. That one's pretty straightforward. 7 and 2, plus 7 plus 2. Right side, c plus 2, can't do anything with that. C squared minus 9. Some people that can't see it, but remember, anytime it's a binomial and you have a variable squared, look for a difference of squares. So I got a difference, and I got guys I can take square roots of, right? So it's a difference of squares, which breaks into c minus 3 and c plus 3. That's just the square root of each of those with different symbols. So now we can go through and cross cancel or cancel up and down. And if I look, I have c minus 3's that cross cancel. I have c plus 2's that cross cancel. And I believe that's it. So now what's left up top? I got a c minus 1 over a c plus 7 times a c plus 3. So I keep those in parentheses. And we're done. Okay, so it looks confusing, looks complicated. Just get it written with a division symbol, and it's just like our last couple sections. Okay? Lastly, doing some dimensional analysis again here. It's just going to end up being a rational expression that we're going to have to deal with. So if I look, I got 1/4 of a mile in 3 1/8 seconds, and I want to get it in miles per minute instead. So we set it up. I got 1/4 of a mile in 3 1/8 seconds. Okay, and I want to get this into miles per minute. Well, I already got miles, so I need to get seconds into minutes. So if we remember, I got to multiply to get rid of seconds and go to minutes. Well, to get rid of seconds, I got to cross cancel them. So seconds are going to go up top, which means minute go on the bottom. And there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So now I'm out of seconds and I'm into minutes. Well, now we multiply across. This is really 60 over 1. So 1 times 60, which is 60, over 4 times 1, which is 4. And that simplifies into 15, I believe. So rewrite that. So that's 15. And that's miles. Over, well, 3 1/8 times 1 is just 3 1/8. But that's not rated as a mixed number. Let's get it an improper fraction. So 8 times 3 plus 1, which is 25, over 8. And we're in minutes. And if we look, this is just like we talked about. I got a number, I got a fraction, here's my division symbol. So let's rewrite this. So I got 15 divided by 25 over 8. And we never divide fractions, so we multiply by the reciprocal. And this is 15 over 1 multiplied by 8 over 25. Well, that works out nice because a 5 goes into a 15 and a 25. 3 times and 5 times. So we're left with 24 over 5, which would be 5 4/5 miles per minute. And I didn't even need a calculator for all that. Okay? So just set up your dimensional analysis like we did right here. Get it to your new rate, miles per minute in this case, and then go through what we just did, right? Okay. You got a better idea on how to work with those. Deuces.